Audi just called this the most efficient car it has ever built. Not the most efficient EV in its lineup, the most efficient Audi, period, in the company's entire history. And the number behind that claim is almost hard to believe, 12.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. To put that in perspective, most compact electric cars on sale today are closer to 16 or 17. Audi just quietly closed the gap that the rest of the industry has been fighting over for years. And they didn't do it with some radical new battery chemistry nobody's heard of, or a motor borrowed from a hypercar program. They did it by obsessing over the boring stuff, the transmission, the coolant loop, the way electricity moves through wires. This is the story of the Audi A2 e-tron, and why the least glamorous parts of this car might be the most important thing Audi has engineered in a decade. Let's start with where this car actually comes from, because the name is not an accident. The original Audi A2 back in the late 90s and early 2000s was a strange little car for its time. Aluminum body, aerodynamic shape, and a 3-liter version that sipped fuel like nothing else on the road. It was ahead of its era and never quite got the credit it deserved. Audi's own CEO, Gernot Döllner, has talked about how that car shaped his thinking since he joined the Volkswagen Group in the 90s. So when Audi decided to build a compact electric entry point into its lineup, something to sit below the Q4 e-tron and compete for buyers who actually care about range per kilowatt hour instead of raw power, they didn't invent a new name. They resurrected the A2 and built the philosophy of that car straight into an electric drivetrain. Now, here's where it gets genuinely interesting and where most reviews are going to gloss over the details. Because the headline number, 12.8 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers, actually comes from 3 separate systems working together. Aerodynamics gets you part of the way. Audi shaped this thing with a 0.24 drag coefficient, the best in their entire compact lineup, using air curtains at the front flanks, gap reducers around the wheel arches, and an active cool air intake that stays shut most of the time, and only opens when the battery actually needs the airflow. Altogether, those tricks save up to 0.9 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometers. That's meaningful, but it's not the whole story. The real engineering story is under the floor and inside the motor housing. And this is where I want to spend most of our time, because the transmission and the battery are doing something genuinely clever. Start with the drivetrain. The electric motor in the A2 e-tron is a permanently excited synchronous motor, which isn't new by itself. Plenty of EVs use this layout. What's new is what Audi did around it. The power electronics switched from silicon to silicon carbide semiconductors, which sounds like a spec sheet footnote, but actually matters enormously, because it cuts switching losses, especially under partial load, which, let's be honest, is what 90% of real-world driving actually is. Nobody's flooring it to redline all day. You're cruising, you're braking gently, you're coasting up to a red light. Audi tuned this system specifically for that reality, using variable switching frequency to cut losses by up to 20 watts, and alternative modulation techniques that reduce switching losses by up to 33% compared to older methods. Inside the motor itself, the laminations, the thin metal sheets that make up the motor's core, were thinned down from 0.3 millimeters to 0.2. That reduces what engineers call iron losses, essentially energy that leaks away as heat instead of turning into forward motion. And the stator winding switched configuration from a star pattern to a delta pattern, which shifts the motor's efficient operating range to better match how people actually drive day to day. And then there's the transmission, which is the part almost nobody talks about in EV reviews. Because most people assume electric cars barely have one, usually just a single speed reduction gear. But Audi went further here. They introduced a new low-friction oil that noticeably cuts mechanical drag inside the gearbox, and they chose a tall 10.2 to 1 gear ratio, which at higher road speeds keeps the motor spinning slower than it otherwise would. Lower motor speed at cruising pace means lower losses, which means more range for the exact same battery. It's a small mechanical decision with a real-world payoff every single time you're on the highway. Now, the battery, and this is genuinely one of the more interesting choices in the car. Audi went with lithium iron phosphate cells, LFP, built in what's called a cell-to-pack design, where the cells bond directly into the housing instead of being grouped into separate modules first. That increases packing density, so you get more usable energy and better energy density without the pack physically growing. The capacity lands at 61 kilowatt hours. LFP doesn't need rare earth elements. It ages more slowly than a lot of alternative chemistries, and it's considered particularly safe, which is exactly why Audi says owners can routinely charge it to a full 100% without accelerating degradation. Something you'd typically be told to avoid with other battery types. There's a second advantage baked into LFP chemistry that most people don't think about. Its voltage curve stays relatively flat as the state of charge drops. That means the battery keeps delivering consistent power output even when it's down to 20 or 30%, instead of the power tapering off the way it can with other chemistries. Combine that with an adapted cooling strategy, and Audi is claiming 89.6% charging efficiency at a home wallbox, meaning less energy is wasted as heat during charging, and more of what comes out of your wall socket actually ends up in the battery. And the software matters here too. Audi built an algorithm specifically tuned to LFP chemistry to more accurately track state of charge and state of health, which is historically one of the trickier things to get right with this battery type. One more feature worth mentioning. Bidirectional charging, the A2 e-tron supports vehicle to load, so you can power external devices straight from the car and vehicle to home, which turns the car into a home energy storage system, though that second feature is launching first in Germany, Austria and Switzerland, and you'll need an Audi-approved charging box to use it. So here's the FLU verdict. Audi didn't chase a bigger battery or a flashier motor to win the efficiency race. They won it by refusing to accept that any single component was good enough as is. Thinner motor laminations, a different winding pattern, silicon carbide switching, a tall gear ratio, and a better transmission oil. An LFP battery tuned by its own dedicated algorithm. None of these on their own would make headlines. Together, they add up to the most efficient Audi ever built. This car is set to debut in fall 2026, and if these preliminary numbers hold up once independent testers get their hands on it, the A2 e-tron isn't just a comeback story for a beloved nameplate. It's a genuine blueprint for how the rest of the compact EV segment is going to have to compete going forward.